Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this AZVA ISAZ welcome orientation. You will still have an orientation with your advisor or your teachers, maybe your principals, but this is a welcome to our school and just sort of an overall welcome orientation. My name is Daisha Oshuro. I was a teacher here in the Valley for about 10 years. I then was a faculty for ASU for a few years. Then I started teaching here at AZVA in 2013. And I have bumped over to the FAST program, the student support side of things, for the last 3 years. So, and I had 2 of my own children attending this school. So our mission is to help our students find a way, help our families find a way. We want to help you connect with your team. We want to help you engage with your academics, reinforce some really good habits and skills, and to help your child grow to meet all of these goals. This is my favorite slide. This is the myth-busting slide. We are a real, true public charter school, state approved, a real school. We're not a homeschool. We're a real school that just happens to be online. You may be doing it at home or at Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Safeway, but we're still true public charter school. Because of that, we have some very real expectations. There are some assignments that have to be done every day. There are some live class connect sessions or live teaching sessions that you have to be a part of, potentially some days each week. And there are some daily attendance requirements. We need attendance to be logged in daily so that the state knows you're attending school and, not truant or just not schooling. So I took all of those basic things and I stretched it a little bit. And this is a look at some of those expectations. So you have to log into school. Typically, a student walks into a building, goes into their classroom, finds their seat. Here, you log into your classroom by logging into the computer, finding your class, finding your assignments. There will be some live online teaching moments, and this is where the teacher actually is teaching you, similar to what I'm doing in a Blackboard session or what we call a class connect. It will be on your schedule. There's also some online lessons. So since we're an online school, our lessons are online. You'll click on the lesson, you'll do it, and when it's 80% complete or 80% mastered, then it gives you the check mark and you can move on to that next one. There's also some offline work. Maybe you're reading a book for some assignments. K-5, they do a lot of book reading. Middle school, high school, you'll have some assignments to do that are research papers or different, tasks that go with your harder school than a K-5 student might have. But there will be some offline work that all students have time to do and the chance to do. Communication is big. We can't see you in the hallway. We can't send a flyer home to your parents in your backpack. So we do need to make sure that you're communicating with your team. Your team is your advisors, your teachers, and your admin. Your advisors, though, is your first point of contact. They are your superheroes. They are your personal advisor. So reach out to them when you have any questions. That's what they're here for. They want to hear from you. So you're never bugging us. Just give us a call, send us an email. Sometimes you can text us, but just make sure you're communicating with your advisor. If you're confused or stuck or anxious about something, reach out. That's what they want. Attendance, we do have the learning coaches log that attendance because we don't see the offline work. So if you're doing your work and it takes 2 hours, maybe you're a kindergartner who needs to school for 4 hours, those other 2 hours we don't see what you're doing, but the learning coach does. So we want to make sure that you have that chance to put in all 4 hours of attendance. And again, that's done daily. And there is some required testing. The whole state, probably the nation, the world, we all have assessments in our schools. So that would be something that every student would have to do. Your daily lessons can be found. Your screen will look like the one on the left or the one on the right. Middle school, high school is the one on the left. Kindergarten through 5th is the one on the right. The kindergarten through 5th, I have the screen showing the weekly tab. So you click on plan and then weekly and it shows you the whole week. That green column on the right, that's sort of signifies that that is today's work, that is today. And you can see what the student has done or has not done on the days previous. The middle school, high school, that blue column on the left, I call that your hallway. And I always highly stress that you start off by clicking on the classes tab, and I'll show you that in just one moment. For the K-5 side of things, I did blur out a few of the live classes, those Class Connect sessions. But if you look for the red star, that's the tab I'm looking at, the weekly plan. Then that red triangle shows you some really tiny little markings. Those you can go forward a week, so you can look at next week, or you can go forward a day. I always look at a week though. The red circle on the right, all of those things, those blurry areas above that sort of green line, those are your live Class Connect sessions. So every week I can look and say, oh, I have a class at 8:30, I have a class at 9:30. You know, on Thursday I have no live Class Connects. So you can kind of see what's going on in your student's life. The purple circle, that's pointing to, we want you to click on the lesson that's under the title. So if you look at that purple circle, it's pointing to a 2.11 Mesmerized, and the class is called Summit ELA 5. So this would be a 5th grade class. We always want you to click on the lesson, not the course name. So click on the 2.11 or the 1.3 or the 2.10. That would be what we want you to focus on. And the last red rectangle at the very bottom is pointing to 2 areas that I outlined in blue. Those are the online learning courses that show up for all new families almost right away. So your first day, maybe a day or two before, those will show up on your plan, and we want you to do those right away. So if you want to do them before your first start date, if you want to do them after you start, but those are required. It's sort of a little example of what our classes would look like, what the lessons would look like. It maybe takes, oh goodness, maybe 10 to 15 minutes to do all 4 of them. So I always say, click on all of them. Do the first one. It'll probably take you 5 minutes of clicking, and then the other ones go even faster. So let's say it's Tuesday, you do the first one, but you want to do the rest, just click on them, and it will bump it over to Tuesday for you. So this is a look at the middle school, high school side of things. This shows you the schedule. So if you look on the left-hand side, you can see in that little blue hallway that it's the schedule tab. You can filter by day or by week. The beautiful colors on the right-hand side, those are your Class Connect sessions, and all the lessons in the middle, those are those online lessons. I don't suggest you click on those in the middle white area to do your lessons though, because you miss out on the announcements from the teachers. So what I suggest is that you and you can look at the weekly view too as well. So I wanted to show you that. But I always suggest you click on that hallway side, click on classes, and you'll get a bunch of icons similar to your phone. Then go into each course that way. So if I now click on CS Civics Test, I can go into my civics classroom and see the announcements for my teachers. If I went the other way from the schedule, I'd miss out on some things like extra credit. Sometimes they say only do the odd problems, only do the even problems. So you just never know what announcements you're going to hear or read in that area. So I always advise go through classes and then go into your actual class. You can also see your grades right here in this view. You can see if you have overdue assignments in this view. So this view gives you a ton of information. So always go back to classes, pick a class. Classes, pick a new class. That's the best way to make sure you've done it. And go into every class every day. It's kind of like going to a real school. You can't just like decide to go to algebra and then leave and then come back and maybe don't go to your other classes. You need to go to all your classes. When you go into the class, you'll see a lot of assignments at the top, or you'll see assignments at the bottom, or you can click at the top gray area where it says content. You can find your materials there. You can see your grade here in the middle or the bottom there. Contact your teacher right from here. So if you're in algebra and you want to talk to your algebra teacher, right there. You don't even have to look for them. It's just right there. So use that gray area at the top too. It's super helpful. See all your grades. Look at every single lesson you've done. And if you want to know you're overdue, this assignment or this class has 2 overdue, and you want to know what 2, click on it and you can actually do those 2 right there. The live Class Connect sessions will look similar to what you're in right now, but slightly different. Most of the information's on the left, and then the right-hand side is the whiteboard. The chat box would be the bottom left-hand side. Assessments we talked about, they look different for K-5 and middle school, high school, but everybody does have a test called the NWEA that you do as a new student, so you will get information from your advisors on where to log in for that. So if I took that big list of expectations and squished it down into just these few things, this is what it would look like. Log in every day, complete your lessons every day, communicate with your advisors maybe at least once a week, attend any live Class Connect sessions, and update attendance. So if you can do those things, you're golden. The families that struggle at our school are the ones that decide not to do their lessons, or they don't update attendance, or they never go to those live Class Connect sessions. And you can't do school if you're not actually doing school. So of course it doesn't work for you if you're not doing those expectations. The state has required hours that every student has to attend, and this is a chart of that. So if you're in kindergarten, you have 4 hours, and again, it might be an hour and a half or 2 hours of pushing buttons, going to live Class Connects. Maybe it's an hour and a half or 2 hours or 1 hour of reading books, practicing letters, reciting your ABCs when you're driving to the store, making dinner with mom and dad. So you have a variety of things you can do for offline assignments. You will see some mini orientations that will show up on your schedule. Those could be from your advisor, maybe they're from administrators, but usually they will say required. If it's the same link for multiple sessions, you can just pick the one that works for you. At this point, just have in mind a place where you think your students are going to work. My daughter sat on her bed spread out. My son sits at the kitchen table because he falls asleep on his bed. I would probably do the same. So have a place in mind, and if it doesn't work, make sure you modify that pretty quickly. So if you notice they're failing or they're not doing their lessons, they have a lot of overdue, then something isn't working and something needs to be changed. Also, you want to have a backup plan. So I have my phone for a hotspot. I know Dunkin' Donuts is down the road. I can do my work there, Safeway, the library. I have an online job, and I'm not paid if I'm not online working. You have online school, and you don't get credit for schooling if you're not actually doing it. So you need to have that backup plan. If internet goes out or power goes out, obviously there are some times where it can't work, but that counts as an absent day. So that makeup work follows you. It would be overdue assignments. So I'm going to show you a couple things and post some links, which you can't actually click on since you're you're in a recorded session and a very fast session too. So I'm going to show you a little bit about where they are, and then I will probably be emailing you some information. So we have a district website, and this was also in that email that I sent to you with the ability to attend the session live. So the district website has everything you might need to know about our school. You can see who your advisors are, what they look like, if there's any field trips going on, everything around the valley. You can also find Learning Coach University. So if you click on the home button and you'll click on Learning Coach, you'll see Learning Coach University or live Learning Coach sessions, welcome orientation sessions, which is what this is, but this one's recorded for you. K-12 tech support too. I have that bookmarked because I always have issues. So lots of good information. And those links will not work for you, but let me go back and just put it here in case you want to take a picture of it with your phone, and then you can enter it in later on a website. That would be ideal. And the last, this is our code word, scatter kindness. We are hoping super hard that you guys come into this happy and pleased with what we're doing for you. We're trying to make sure that we're happy and pleased with how things are working, but we know it's a bumpy process. So we're really just focused on baby steps, getting you up and running. You can't do all the things right away, so don't expect to do them all right away. We know you're new. We know you're new into this, so we're going to work kindly with you. So this is your code word when you're entering information into that form. All right, have a wonderful day.